My name is Natalie Lavery. I'm the marketing lead here at Climate People, and I'm joined by Brendan, our CEO and founder, and Hannah, who recently just accepted a job at a climate tech company. So we're super excited to talk with her and just learn more about her journey and what she'll be doing. So perfect. Hannah, do you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and what job you'll be taking?
Yes, of course. So my name is Hannah Pelfrain, and I'm very passionate about sustainability and ESG. I am currently finishing up a Master's of Business Administration, focusing in sustainability management, also completing the SASB FSA Essential Certification. So I'm really passionate about this area and was previously working within the ESG rating space. And my new role will be at a climate tech firm called Persefoni that focuses on carbon accounting and management, and I will be working in product marketing for them.
Awesome. Super exciting. So when you were looking into getting this job, why did you want to initially make an impact on climate? Why did you want to get involved in the climate space?
So the climate space is really interesting to me because I'm a huge lover of the outdoors. I really enjoy being able to travel and enjoy new spaces. And so it's something for me that feels important and is something that as a younger person, I want to protect and cherish so that I can kind of share these moments throughout my life with like future children, grandchildren, and really just extend the beauty that our earth has. And specifically regarding climate, it has such a positive impact when we have people working on measuring these factors, because without kind of understanding and knowing where we can make changes, it's hard to make those changes.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that's kind of like the common, I guess, diction that we hear with younger people is I have this passion and I want to find a way to connect my personal passion and then my career. And a lot of people don't see that space for them. So it's awesome that you did see that and that you wanted to kind of act on that. Was there any barriers that you experienced when you were looking to switch your career to focus on this, or was it kind of just smooth sailing for you?
So one thing I found, I feel like I was always kind of keeping an eye on jobs coming up on LinkedIn, and because kind of the climate, ESG, sustainability space is so new, jobs are not necessarily posted in the same manner as a traditional finance job that's like, oh, financial analyst. Like it's hard to use like LinkedIn searching for different keywords and whatnot. So obviously there's great jobs and great companies that are out there that just kind of have this mismatch between eligible candidates and companies that are doing great things for the environment. So that was definitely something that I was seeing that it's kind of hard to navigate a little bit working in that world. And then obviously as someone who was hoping to be in an impact focused company, an impact focused career, it can be hard to work with general recruiting firms because they don't necessarily have the same understanding of what that means and what you're looking for. So that can also kind of create that mismatch as well.
Yep. Yep. That's something that we definitely hear very constantly. And Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of one of the main reasons that Climate People was even founded, was to help get more people working on climate solutions and let people even know that there are jobs in the space and in their industry.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean,
Yeah.
that is like our core mission. And
Yep.
Hannah, the times that we spoke, I probably said that a million times. Like our core number one core value is to get people working in climate. And as personally, I know I struggle with this on the individual front. Like the consumer behavior changes are really important, but at the end of the day, I only can control what I can control. And I felt like the biggest impact that I could make in the climate movement was to get more people working in these jobs as a recruiter, that if I could just get the candidates that I'm working with focused on climate impact, if we're all going to spend 40 hours a week or more potentially, giving our time, energy, and effort and skill to something, let's put it to use for the planet. And there's so many ways that we can go about doing it. I was thinking about even your background, Hannah, because you're not a traditional climate technology person, right? Like your degree was in communications, right? And you got an MBA. Like you came at it from a marketing perspective, then got an MBA. So like that's not necessarily the most traditional path. I mean, I know that I felt for years that climate change was for scientists and engineers and policy. And here you come at it from a totally different standpoint. So at what point did you, in your career, was it in undergraduate that you were thinking that this was the path that you wanted to go down? Because you were a communications manager, right?
Yeah, so I majored in strategic communications and business entrepreneurship in my undergrad. And similar to what you just said, what really resonated with me when I first started working was that, okay, I'm spending a lot of time doing what I'm doing, and I don't necessarily feel like this is making a positive impact on the world. And so I was always really interested like in environmental causes and like personal sustainability, and through like exposure at various workplaces, I was able to like realize that there's this whole industry of the private sector aiming to better this. And the private sector plays a huge role in combating climate change and really making like positive change for everyone. So it's an important role to play. And it's definitely something that we've seen in the last few years, companies really awaken to and set goals and set targets. And it's really exciting place to be, especially right now with existing regulations and impending regulations as well, to really just hopefully kind of make sure everyone's on the same team.
Yeah. Well, what do you, I know we haven't talked about this obviously, but do you have any advice for people that some random person that sees this video on YouTube, is there any advice that you would give to somebody who's maybe sitting in their current job and this resonates with them, but they don't know how to bridge the gap between what they're currently doing and go getting a job in ESG or sustainability or climate? Like, is there any advice that you would give to that person that they could potentially act on?
My first piece of advice is always to like ask for help. I feel like people, particularly within like the climate, sustainability, ESG world, are so opening, so welcoming, open to coffee chats, opening to offer like extend their network. So definitely reach out to people if you kind of have somewhat of a connection and try to make that. And another thing that's nice about the sustainability space is that there's a lot of really great certifications right now that don't necessarily require the time or financial commitment of an advanced degree, but that can make you really marketable within the sustainability space. So I think there's a lot of resources, like educational resources, and obviously seeking out companies like Climate People to help you narrow down that job search and kind of cut through the noise of like extended LinkedIn searching is definitely something to help. And also just kind of in making it part of your like media consumption. Like one thing that I really like to do is have like all of my, I guess, business news have some type of like sustainable business focus, like through podcasts I listen to, like articles I read, like newsletters. I feel like there's a lot of really great like ESG, climate, sustainability newsletters like focused within all industry topics. So there's definitely the information out there. It's just you got to do a little searching to find it.
Yeah, I agree. Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate it. What were there any certifications you mentioned at the very beginning, but were there any certifications that you would recommend people taking a look at?
I would recommend the SASB's FSA exam, which is the fundamentals of sustainability accounting. It just gives a really great overview of understanding materiality from an environmental, social, and governance lens, and also from a value creation lens, which I think that's how ESG is really going to be adopted long term, is focusing on both sides of the coin. Like we want higher returns, we want lower risk, like we want it all. So I think that's really important to really understand, and also just great knowledge for you to learn throughout your own investment experience as well.
Oh, that's great.
Definitely. Kind of going back to like what you're just touching on, Hannah, how once you kind of start immersing yourself in those climate resources and really getting involved in the community, you see how open it is. And that's something that we really push, is you've got to put yourself out there. People in this community are really open. And once you get your foot in the door, the possibilities and the opportunities really are endless. So definitely agree with that and think that's a really, really good point. So while we are super excited and stoked to place people in climate roles, and that really is what drives us, we also have a partnership with 1% for the Planet, which is basically where we donate 1% of every placement fee to an environmental nonprofit, and we will do that in your name. So we're currently working with two nonprofits, both Soulflower Farm and the Honnold Foundation. Did you have a second to look at those and know which one you want to donate to? I can give you a quick little refresher too if you need one.
No, I looked into it and I'm going to choose the Honnold Foundation, just because I've recently gotten into indoor rock climbing, obviously not on the same level, but so big fan, on a very low scale. And I think that's a great organization that's doing really great things. So thank you.
Yeah, they're incredible. So yeah, definitely donate in your name. And yeah, Alex Honnold he's a crazy man, but he does some good things. So yeah. Perfect. Well, I think that's all the questions we had for you, Brendan, unless you have anything else that you want to touch on, or you too, Hannah, if you had anything else that you wanted to tie in there.
No, I'm good. This has been really great, Hannah.